Yeah! Yeah!
Why are you
Up shadow
doing this so
facts!
much?
Up shadow facts! Nice one, shadow facts! You shall not pass!
What does that mean?
That's from, I guess that's not even from this book. That's from Lord of the Rings. Do you know, he probably doesn't even have this horse.
Nope.
Okay. Let me take this stuff off because it'll drive me crazy.
Okay.
Yo!
What is happening? Dad! You're
Okay.
bright red, you're so hot.
I know. Okay.
How long have you been in that?
For too long. Okay.
Woo.
So, if you're seeing this, it's either on our I feel better already. It was either on my main channel,
Told you.
or we just started a Kids Explore Books channel. This will be the second video that's on there. The other one is with the younger one in our family, and she's going through Harry Potter for the first time. And so we are about a quarter of the way through that one, and she's loving it. We're at about Diagon Alley, and we had a good talk about that. She's just kind of, she kind of loses her.
She does this.
Yeah, she kind of loses her attention a little bit, but she
Yeah,
loved making the
maybe
video.
A lot.
Yeah. So we are going through The Hobbit. And, you haven't read any of it. I think you're going to really like this and Lord of the Rings because of how much you liked Harry Potter. I think, already we've found stuff you liked. We are almost done one of the most famous chapters in the whole series. One of the most famous chapters in the world, really. And it is Riddles in the Dark. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't know what's going to happen at the end of this book or in The Lord of the Rings.
Nope.
But
Never
he did just find a ring in the book.
Yeah, that's why I have a whole bunch of rings.
Yeah. So, about this ring, this magic ring that Gollum is so... Or actually, let's get to some other stuff first. Want to go through some of this other stuff? What has been your favorite stuff so far in the book? I mean, favorite characters, favorite moments, things that have stood out?
This is the very best moment of humanity.
What is this one?
It is when all of the dwarves are in the sacks.
Yeah, and their feet are sticking out. In the movies, it's a little bit
From
different.
The trolls.
Right.
Their heads are sticking out in it. It's supposed to be the...
Yeah, so we have seen a couple clips of the movie as we've gone through, and it's a little different. In the movie, they kind of come in ready to fight the trolls. In the book, they just kind of go in like, hey, what's going on? And they get stuck in bags. And then Gandalf does his Gandalf stuff, which I wonder, I think you will always love Dumbledore, but I wonder how you're going to feel about Gandalf once we've really read through a lot of this.
At first, I'm liking him a lot, actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a curmudgeon.
What is that?
He's kind of cranky.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, he reminds me of if, Mrs. McGonagall
From Harry Potter.
is fantastic, but Mrs. McGonagall kind of on a grouchy day. It can maybe a little bit like that to me. Maybe that's not even a fair comparison, but I really like Mrs. McGonagall and I like Gandalf. Okay, what is this?
So, that is the sign in Gandalf scratched on Bilbo's door. When Gandalf and Bilbo met for the first time.
Did it show this symbol in the picture in the book?
In my book.
Good job. I think you would love to live in the Shire if it didn't have chickens, right?
Or animals.
Or animals of any kind. Okay. So you loved the trolls. What were their names? It was William. William was one of the trolls, and Bert maybe? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Okay, what else has stood out so far? We've met some elves.
Yeah.
You met Elrond,
Yeah.
who
Wait,
that
hold
will
on.
mean something a little bit later. Okay, what have we missed?
I love when the dwarves sing. So the dwarves, after he gets the mark on the door, the next day, a whole bunch of dwarves come.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Do you know a lot of
after
people
and
don't
after.
like the songs?
I think they're awesome because they're so funny. They're so
It's funny
funny.
that they just break out into song a little bit.
Yeah, and they have a map
Mm-hmm.
because their mountain was took over by a dragon.
What do you think is going to happen by the end of this book? Speaking of that,
They're
you know,
going to
that's kind of
try to
like the
break
main
into-
mission, right?
They're going to try to maybe break into the mountain again and steal the gold or something, I think.
Do you
Or
think...
try to get their home back.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that it was kind of lucky the way that they got they were able to read the writing on that map? Do you have something for that?
I have a picture for that, too.
Is that Elrond holding up the... Okay. So, holding it up in the same moon. It's not like a full moon or whatever. It has to be the same moon as the time it was written, which is a cool way of doing that.
I even added the moon.
Yeah, I see that. How about the goblins? How about the stone giants? Remember the stone ones that are throwing rocks at each other?
They're just like having like a dodgeball game.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, moving to the goblins, because I want to see, you know, I will have some questions, but we got to recap some of this.
Yeah.
Actually, what do you think about the swords that they found?
Ooh, like after they saw the rock giants or before. I think
It was after, because the rock giants are stone now. Then they went into their cave to see if they have anything, and they saw like bones of people they maybe have eaten and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff. And they found some swords. Remember which swords they found? Specifically, a few of them.
I forgot what they're called.
I could probably help you. I bet I could remember at least. Yeah, I think I could remember all of them, or the two that we have a name for them. What do you know about the two swords, or the swords that we find? Do you remember anything about them?
I remember about Bilbo's.
Okay.
Bilbo's is like a little dagger, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be like a sword to him, and he'd be like,
Right.
"This is so cool."
Yeah.
But it glows blue if orcs or goblins are near.
Mm-hmm.
Which are like, orcs are like really big, scary things, and goblins are like
We haven't really messed with
Little-
the orcs.
little tiny.
Kind of like
littles,
little freaky monkeys or something.
which climb on you, and they look kind of like orcs.
Yeah. Yeah. And they can like see in the dark, and they burrow into mountains and kind of take over. There's a couple places that have a lot of goblins that have kind of overrun the place. You know, overrun means it's like so many of them that you just can't even go back, 'cause
Oh,
there's just
what
tons.
were about the big other swords?
So Thorin has a sword, which is called Orcrist, maybe, and it's called the Goblin Cleaver, which to cleave something is like to chop something, pretty much. So it has probably killed a whole bunch of goblins, and even when they
Goblins don't
see
like
it,
when they see it.
yeah, even when they see it, it just drives them crazy, right? And they hate anyone who would hold that sword. And then the one that Gandalf has, I think it's called Glamdring, and it was like the sword that the king would have, I believe. I might be getting that a little wrong, but it's pretty cool. The goblins, so it's like super dark, and they just kind of grab you all over. And what did you think of that whole section when they were all tied on a chain and getting kind of pulled into a
I
tunnel?
have a picture of that.
Do you?
Yeah, you can find that. I have a lot of pictures in my book.
Oh, of that moment.
Yeah.
How would that be? Being stuck to a
that'd be
chain and being
terrifying. Oh, that would be terrifying.
pulled around. It would be terrifying. Here we
It
go.
would hurt too.
That right there. Pulling them around, and then eventually they're running out of there, and they're all having to piggyback Bilbo, and then they grab Dory, who has Bilbo on his back, and Bilbo kind of falls off and bangs his head, and then we get a whole different chapter. I want to talk about that chapter with you because it honestly is one of the most
Riddles in the
famous.
Dark?
Yeah, one
I
of the most
have a
famous
picture for that
chapters
one,
ever.
too.
Do you have a? Okay, show me the picture.
But it's about Gollum.
Okay, which I showed her a tiny little clip of Gollum.
I have a picture of
And
Gollum too.
she was not super into that, right? He's a little bit freaky. I mean, he is creepy. Let's take a look here. That's Gollum's boat. Is that his little island with a house on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Gollum, my precious. What do you think of that guy, actually? Ugh, he's creepy,
I
eh?
know. But I had a certain one. There. That's what I did it based off.
Oh, like his eyes really light up.
Yeah, that's what are that's what those little triangle pineapple things
Right.
are.
So, the goblins don't really go where Gollum lives. Gollum has this big underground lake, and I think the
They
goblins.
eat him. Or Gollum
Right.
catches them and then eats them.
Yeah.
Kinda
And I think he uses that ring, right? He would
Yeah.
use that ring and become
And the
like
ring
invisible.
turns him invisible, and he calls it his birthday present. My birthday present is lost.
Right. And he used to have. We know that he used to have friends at one point.
Yeah.
But then they kind of like. I don't know if he weirded them out or what happened,
He's
but
creepy.
I mean, he is creepy. But he used to have friends at one point, and now he just lives in this underground place where he has a couple of his favorite things, and mostly it looks like he's just kind of his favorite thing is his ring. Can I take this ring?
Okay.
Because I imagine it being a little bit like this, but more like a gold ring.
I think of it like that too.
I know in the movies
Wait,
it's
this
a
one
gold
looks
ring.
more.
I know, but it's that there's some other rings in the book that there's some elf rings that might look like that one. This one's maybe the closest to what Bilbo picked up. I think it's just like a little,
Yeah, something like this, but it's gold.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that whole riddle thing? That they had like a riddle competition. Did you
I
like?
don't know, my precious. I don't know.
You want to show Mike?
This isn't Mike. He is 24 hours old.
Yeah. Did you show anyone at school that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the riddles, you were trying to figure them out. You got a couple of them. And there were a couple that even when we got the answer, I was like, I still don't understand how.
But like, there was one that I understood. Like the gums. Can you read it out for them real quick? Please?
Sure. Let me go to a couple of these
Ah!
and see which. Here.
I understand that one, but some of them make no sense. Riddles make no sense.
So it was like a competition, and they take it very seriously. It's almost like a sacred thing.
Yeah.
An ancient sacred thing that if you win, it's like it's kind of a promise. You have to do what.
Yeah. Go on.
Got this first one. Let me tell you this first one. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows. And you're like, a mountain? And you did get that one. You didn't get the teeth one. 30 white horses on a red hill.
It makes sense now.
Yeah. First they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still. Teeth.
Can I read one that makes no sense?
We don't want to go to all these, though.
But can I just read
Sure,
one that makes
sure.
no sense? Which one doesn't make sense?
I liked this one. I like a box without hinges, key, and lid, yet golden treasure inside is hid. Remember what it is?
It's an egg.
It's an egg. Or did we kind of sort of understand all these?
Kind of.
Oh, the
But some of
time
them
the
made no
time
sense.
one's great. And and then eventually he just kind of cheats. What do you think about Bilbo's?
Oh, it's creepier and yours.
Yeah, that is creepy. What do you think about Bilbo's last riddle?
Riddle.
Do you think that he should have
Wait.
gotten away with that?
Let me just. No. Or yes. Well.
Not really a riddle,
No.
though.
Yeah, it's like this was his riddle. What is in my pocket? And then Gollum was like, I don't know.
Yeah, then he's like, well, what is in your pocket? What do you think will... So, where we have stopped, by the way, we have stopped in this...
Oh, and they
we
call
still have
him
a few
Gollum,
more
right?
pages.
They call him Gollum because he goes Gollum.
Right.
Gollum.
Yeah, he kind of coughs and makes that sound. And it's like, Gollum, Gollum. So, we've stopped at the part where now he's like, what is in your pocket, my precious?
A ring.
And he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything, but he's started to run away, and he has kind of fallen on his back,
And he
with
has-
his glowing swords under him, so it must be invisible. He doesn't see, like Gollum wouldn't see the sword, and he kind of runs right past because he had his hands in his pockets. And remember what happened when his hands were in his pockets?
The ring slipped on him and he turned invisible. It was Gollum's birthday
Right.
present.
So now, this introduces a couple things that we have to talk about. Okay. Now, first thing, what do you think of the main? Like he's separated from Dumbledore, not Dumbledore. He's separated from Gandalf, which
Yeah, all
seems
of
bad,
them.
and he's separated from the dwarves, which seems bad.
But Gandalf will find him
Okay.
or something.
Is he going to make it out of the mountain just fine?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he might get a little hurt. But...
So, the old quest is we're still interested in that. We're still going to the mountain. But now he has this ring. This magic ring. And now he has someone who really doesn't like him. This Gollum guy is chasing him. Where do you think, if you had to guess, this is going to go with Gollum and Bilbo? And like, do you have any guesses about that ring or why? I've talked a little bit to you about the Lord of the Rings, not major things, but you do know that there's a major important ring or lots of important rings. What do you think is going on so far? Any guesses?
Not really.
Okay, perfect.
Except, but my precious might. My precious.
That's like your
precious.
precious. It might make you go a little bit bonkers. He
another
gets
picture,
attached to.
But I have another picture.
Okay, where is it?
It's right here.
Oh, brother, get that out of here. So, we're not even halfway through.
We're like
So we have a lot of stuff to keep going with. How do you like it so far?
It's good.
And you can be honest.
It's good. It's good.
Do you
I
like it?
I like it. It's more of a style than we
Is there
were
anything
kind of
that it's
reading
missing
we
to
were
you? Anything that is maybe you wish it had so far?
Dobby.
Doesn't have Dobby. Doesn't have a bunch of kids, right? Hasn't been any kids really so far. Maybe it could be nice if there were some kids.
And we were recently reading Tress of the Emerald Sea. Wasn't too interesting in my opinion. It was probably because we were going too slow. But this is more Harry Potter styled, so I like it more.
Yeah, in what way? Because there's like magic and stuff?
Yeah, but also it's like he talks the way J.K. Rowling kind of talks.
Oh, like the way it's written.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think a part of what we didn't like about Tress is the narrator. You know what a narrator is? It's like the person there's this Hoyd person who's kind of speaking to us, and we just didn't find him. Anyway, the whole story we just didn't find interesting. Do you know what? People really love that story,
But I love
though.
what are they called?
The Dougs?
Yeah, I love the Dougs.
Anyway, we can't talk about too much other books because, this
the
is...
Dougs are amazing.
Okay, but we can't really talk about it just in case people haven't read it, right?
True.
Okay, so, looking forward to the rest of this?
Uh-huh.
And, oh, look at that.
Okay, that's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This is going to give you nightmares now.
Yes, I already have had nightmares in my mind.
With about Gollum. You just found out about him like 2 days ago. Okay, so say goodbye, and we will see you on the next video.
Wait,
go
how are we
check
gonna
us. I don't know.
Should we have an outro or something?
What's your outro?
15 minutes later.
We came up with our outro. Bye.
Bye.